Today's topic of discussion is micropropagation. I am Dr. Kavita Sagar, welcoming you all. Before micropropagation is also called as in vitro clonal propagation. So, before that, we need to understand what is this clonal propagation. So, clonal propagation is a process of asexual reproduction by multiplication of genetically identical copies of individual plants. So, the term clone is used to represent a population of a plant which is derived from a single individual through the process of asexual reproduction. Now, coming to in vitro clonal propagation, this is also referred to as micropropagation. So, this is a rapid vegetative multiplication process of fruits, ornamental plants, horticultural crops, and other fruit trees. So, this method, micropropagation, is produces genetically identical plants to the original plant to multiple plants in vitro when they are grown in vitro conditions. So, before going to the procedure, let us understand different uses or advantages of micropropagation. So, first and foremost, through this process, we can rapidly multiply number of plants within a short period and also on the small space. And also, the plants which are grown under controlled conditions, they are independent of seasons, and hence, without much time waiting for season, we can get multiples of the plantlets through this micropropagation. And there are some plants which are sterile, and the plants which cannot maintain their characters through the sexual reproduction, and such plants can be multiplied by this method. So, this micropropagation has a role in conservation of endangered species also. And also, main important thing is through this process we can produce virus free plants. Example, already virus free plants which have been commercially available or been now grown popularly are potato, sugarcane, banana and apple. And also valuable compounds, medicinally valuable compounds, that is secondary metabolites, can be got through the wide culture of this plant cells in a liquid culture in big bioreactors. So, some of the species which are cross distantly related can be obtained. Their novel hybrids can be obtained by fusion of protoplast and regeneration methods. And some of the stress tolerant plants, like the plants which can be tolerant to salt, drought, heavy metal, low temperature and herbicide resistant plants, can be obtained by this rapid in vitro selections. So, this method can be used to regenerate the whole plants from plant cells that have been genetically modified. So, now coming to the types of micropropagation, there are various types we can go for. We can culture seed, embryo, meristem, bud, callus, cell suspension, anther and ovary culture can be done, and even protoplast can be cultured through this micropropagation or in vitro clonal propagations. So, quickly this slide shows you various stages of micropropagation. The first and foremost stage is sterilization of the explant, and second is proliferation, third is callus induction, fourth is regeneration, fifth is root initiation, and finally the acclimatization process. So, these are the common procedures applied in almost all type of, if in any type of micropropagation, maybe it bud culture, callus culture, root culture, shoot culture, leaf culture, embryo culture, ovary culture or protoplast cultures. So, these steps are very common. So, let us start with the organ culture now. So, organ culture, so in general there are three kinds of excised plant parts which are grown in vitro. So, organ culture can be done through initial explants, tissue cultures or organ cultures. So, the organ cultures include the plants such as flowers, fruits, ovules, roots, embryos, leaves, etc. So, then coming to initial plants, initial explants, usually these initial explants, they refer to the culture of special tissues such as pith tissue of a tobacco stem, or the secondary phloem of a carrot roots, and even the parenchyma of potato tubers. The initial explants are removed from the stem, root or tubers by using sterile techniques and by employing a sterile cork borer in order to remove the desired tissues. And after removing the desired tissues, these tissues are cut to uniform size from the cock boring, and they are cultured, and they are used only for the duration of experiment and then discarded. So these tissue cultures by contrast are continuously cultured plant tissues which are derived from the cambium, parenchyma and other tissues of specific plants such as leaves, stems, roots or cotyledons. So equipments required for this organ cultures are basically disinfectants. Initially, the experiment of this micropropagation starts with disinfection of the working table as well as the explant. Here, the explant means the organ or a tissue or a cell which from which you take. For example, we want to go for a tissue culture of a sugarcane leaf. So sugarcane leaf here is considered as a explant. So leaf of a Vinca ruja is considered as a explant. Leaf of a hibiscus is considered as a explant. So any part of a plant or any organ of a plant which through which you are taking and you are using it for a tissue culture process experiments, these are called as explants. So initially we need to first process is disinfectant of the work table as well as the disinfection process of explants. So for the disinfect the materials, the disinfectants such as 70% ethanol, 0.1% mercury chloride or even the commercially available Clorox 10% can be used. And other equipments like Bunsen burner or any alcohol or scalpel and forceps are also used. And autoclave or the pressure cooker is very much required in order to sterilize the media as well as the glasswares. And ordinary Pyrex test tubes and flask are also required to prepare the media or all to culture. So these are various glasswares and equipments required. So maybe it beaker, round bottom flask, conical flask, petri plate, glass bowl, etc. And my pipette and microtips are very much essential. And here you can see different culture bottles. So in the second figure you can see the glass bottle used for culture, and also the plastic bottles in which media is poured, and those can be cultured. And in the last photograph you can see different types of culture bottles which are having caps. Okay, and then different forceps in order to dissect or cut the explant. Scalpel and forceps can be used, and these are required equipments. And also laminar hood airflow as well as autoclave machine are essential equipments required for any tissue cultural experiments. So nothing much to mention here about the laminar hood flow. The laminar hood flow helps us to maintain an aseptic environment, and the most of the disinfection, dissection and inoculation process is done under this laminar airflow. And there are obviously there are three classes of laminar hood flows: class 1, class 2 and class 3, and each of these classes they serve a unique purpose depending upon again the needs of our research works. Autoclave is nothing but the instrument which is used to sterilize the media and as well as the glasswares, and it is a machine designed for strict sterilization, and this device will produce pressurized steam to eradicate fungi, bacteria and also viruses. So quickly coming to the essential things. So before we start the experiment we need to understand, so under the organ culture it can be a meristem. So meristem is one of the organ, and so when talking about the meristem culture we need to understand what is this meristem. So meristem is nothing but a type of tissue. So this consists of an undifferentiated group of cells, and these undifferentiated group of cells are capable of dividing throughout the life. So these cells produce new cells that can stretch, that can differentiate and also enlarge as they go on maturing. So in this photograph you can see three different types of meristems. One is apical meristem, which is at the apices, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. So apical meristem, quickly we need to understand, it is present at the root and shoot tips of the plant, and the divisions in this area facilitate growth and development of the root and the shoot. Intercalary meristema is located in the intercalary position, and this helps in increase the height of a internode. So it's generally found in monocots like grasses and pines. Lateral meristems, these are located at the lateral side of stems and roots. These involve in increasing the thickness of the plant. It includes vascular and also it includes cork cambium. So with this brief background, and also meristem culture, it may be a culture of shoot tip culture, because at the shoot tip meristem is present. Meristem tip culture or root tip or culture of shoot apices. So any type of material we can take through which we can go for meristem culture. So before we start with the experiment, it is very much essential that we need to have a fixed size of explants in order to achieve a particular goal of a culture. Okay, so for rapid clonal propagation, 5 to 10 mm shoot tip plants are usually used, and in order to obtain virus free plants, about 10 mm shoot tips can be used within a minimum surrounding tissues. So these are the basic requirements, and with this we can go quickly for the procedures. So initially there are any common procedures which are used in almost all the types of micropropagation. So first step is initiation of culture. So here what happens, the explant is transferred to the culture medium for the callus formation and generation of new shoots. Finally, once new shoots are formed, shoot multiplication is the second process, and the germinated propagule is multiplied here, followed by the axillary shoot proliferation for genetic stability. Again, for the rapid initiation or induction of the shoot proliferation or shoot regeneration, cytokinins are used in higher quantity when compared to auxin to overcome the apical dominance in this step, and followed by shoot multiplication, root of the developed shoots are formed. So this is for third procedures. So when the shoots are now developed, they are transferred onto rooting medium. Rooting medium will be containing maximum number of high concentration of auxin when compared to cytokinin. So when the shoots are formed in the second step, these are transferred to rooting medium to adventitious root formation. So in this stage, NAA followed by IBA and 2,4-D are used to induce the root formation. These are different types of auxin. So finally, after shoots are formed, roots are formed, after next step is these plants, complete plants with the roots and shoots are transferred into the lab. From the lab they are made to acclimatize for few weeks, and from the laboratory again they are transferred to greenhouses, and in the greenhouses after few weeks, once they get hardened and acclimatized, they will be finally transferred onto the field.